Local lawmakers believe the answer is yes. Senator Terry Van Dyne of Buncombe County tells WLOS News.
I don't see anything happening really soon, but I think it's great that we're having these discussions.
It was a solemn first night of Hanukkah at the Pittsburgh synagogue, where 11 people were killed in a mass shooting 5 weeks ago. Details from CBS News' Anne-Marie Green.
About 500 people gathered outside the Tree of Life synagogue last night for a menorah lighting ceremony. In his Hanukkah message, President Trump paid tribute to the victims of the massacre and denounced anti-Semitism.
Sheriff-elect Danny Rogers will officially take over as the first African-American sheriff in Guilford County today. Rogers announced he would fire 26 employees. Many were retiree callbacks and did part-time work for the sheriff's office. He told WXII News this is a normal part of transition.
Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. If it has not been me, it would have been somebody else that would have done this.
An online petition is urging government officials to allow the father of a slain North Carolina teenage girl to attend her funeral. A petition on change.org is urging immigration officials to let the father of Hania Aguilar attend her funeral next week. There's nearly 10,000 signatures so far. You're listening to NCN News.
It's the season for sharing and caring, and UNC-TV presents its Joy of Giving campaign with a generous helping of hearty shows, including British Blues with All-American guitar great Joe Bonamassa, and a classic concert of unforgettable songs from the legendary Highwaymen, Johnny, Chris, Waylon, and Willie. It all starts tonight at 8. Don't miss a moment of the action, now through December 5th, only on UNC-TV, PBS, and more. See all that's on at unctv.org/specials.
Voters have spoken in North Carolina. How can you make sense of what they said about the legislature, Congress, the courts, the Constitution? Carolina Journal helps answer those questions, and it helps you look ahead to 2019. Available each month as a free newspaper, every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your #1 source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
The UN Secretary General opened the climate summit in Poland today by giving a dramatic appeal to take the threat of global warming seriously and act boldly to avert a rise in temperatures before the end of the century. Antonio Guterres also said climate change is the most important issue we face. BBC's Fiona McDonald has more.
The president of the summit, Michal Korczyka, says the need for action is urgent.
We are here to enable the world to act together on climate change, to reach together the goals of the convention.
The last public meeting for people to provide their input in an effort to improve the safety of schools in North Carolina has been held in Greensboro. The committee was collecting public input in recent months regarding viewpoints and ideas for improving school safety. The chairman is Robert Evans. He tells WXII News.
It is a multifaceted, complicated issue. It's a mental health issue and any number of other things that come into play. So you're missing, if you do not involve the public.
A North Carolina middle school teacher is due in court today to face charges that she had an illegal sexual relationship with a 12-year-old student. Brianna Nicole Stanley was arrested and charged last week for multiple felonies stemming from an alleged inappropriate relationship with a child. Here's a story that will make you yell ouch.
An 11-year-old kid in northern Illinois decided to find out if you place your tongue on a frozen metal pole, will it stick? Spencer Klein found out yes, it will, and it hurts a lot. Of course, he got the idea from the movie A Christmas Story.
Stick my tongue to that stupid pole, that's dumb. That's because you know it'll stick.
Well, it did, and there was likely this then. His friend looked for hot water, then called an
AM 590 WCAB Rutherfordton with FM translator service on W265DW at 100.9.
From ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan in Houston, where a blue and white Boeing 747 sits on the tarmac at Ellington Field. The official presidential plane will transport the remains of George H.W. Bush to Washington, where Mr. Bush will lie in state. Personal friends are paying tribute to the 41st president, who died on Friday at age 94. Among family, like grandson Pierce Bush.
He was simply one of the world's kindest and most decent men.
Political foes like former Vice President Joe Biden call Bush
man of enormous integrity, and never was it about him. It was always about somebody else.
The 41st president will lie in state until a funeral at the National Cathedral. His remains will then be brought back to Texas for burial alongside former First Lady Barbara Bush and the couple's young daughter, who died in 1953. I'm Jim Ryan, ABC News in Houston. Now with more, here's Sherry Preston.
Stock futures are all pointing higher right now after President Trump agreed to a 90-day truce in the trade war with China. After a strong earthquake rattled the Anchorage, Alaska area, schools there will be closed all week. However, in fire-ravaged parts of Northern California, kids are getting back to school today for the first time in nearly a month.
In Paradise, schools, like pretty much everything else, are gone. 3,500 students have no schools to return to. As classes resume today, they'll be held at temporary locations like a shopping mall and at other schools in nearby Chico.
ABC's Alex Stone. Hundreds are under arrest after a weekend of violent protests in Paris, including along the Champs-Élysées. The so-called Yellow Jacket protesters are angry over rising gas prices and living costs. More than 100 people are hurt. In the last half hour,
we have liftoff of Anne McLean to Vít St. Jacques and Oleg Kononenko blasting through.
A successful launch toward the International Space Station from Kazakhstan after a launch in October had to be aborted. You're listening to ABC News.
Hey, I'm Brant. So there's this guy named Jordan. He's a healthy guy. He's a dad of 6, and he works as a guide in Alaska. And he goes to the doctor, true story, he goes to the doctor, and he's diagnosed with cancer, stage 4. And here's the thing. He had switched earlier from medical insurance to Medishare, where Christians share each other's medical bills. So the question for Jordan and his wife, Jenny, was, is this actually going to work?
Our medical bills exceeded $160,000. Medishare members shared all our bills.
And it was about more than just the money, too. This is a real community.
Medishare is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life. I just don't know how I could have done it without Medishare.
It's so worth looking into. There's a reason this is growing so fast. So if you want to find out more, here is a number for you, 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE.
There's a new look ahead at the state of cybersecurity for next year.
The reports by Experian, one of the top 3 credit reporting agencies, itself having been hacked in 2015. Chief Michael Bremer says next year, biometrics, the systems that allow employees to log into work from remote locations, could be hacked, plus gaming and cloud hacking. He says when shopping,
make it a low credit limit credit card or a throwaway card. Don't use your one that is connected to your bank account, let alone don't use a debit card.
Also, don't shop on an unsecure website. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pushing back now that he's facing new charges. ABC's Jordana Miller's in Jerusalem.
A witch hunt and a tainted investigation. That's how Israel's prime minister is describing new police recommendations against him. For the 3rd time, police recommending he be charged with bribery, fraud, and breach of trust. Police allege he gave millions of dollars in regulatory benefits to telecom giant Bezik in return for positive media coverage on its news site, Walla.
Amazon is testing out ways to expand its system for stores without cashiers to even bigger stores without cashiers. The Wall Street Journal says the system, which lets people grab items and then just walk out while their Amazon account is charged, is already being used in smaller stores in several cities. It's unclear if Amazon's planning to roll this out at places like Whole Foods as well. This is ABC News.
It's time to join the millions of people that meet happy with Zoom video conferencing. Zoom gives you flawless video, crystal clear audio, and instant sharing across any mobile, tablet, or desktop device. But the best thing about Zoom? It just works. So ditch the distractions, join the movement, and meet happy with Zoom video conferencing. Visit zoom.us to set.
Come on into Oakland Feed and Seed and guess how many kernels of corn are in the jar. Exact guess wins $500 gift certificate. Closest guess wins $150 gift certificate. And next closest win, a $50 gift certificate. Winners will be notified December 21st. Only one entry per day in store only. Let Scott and his team help you with your do-it-yourself pest control questions. They have the supplies. Oakland Feed and Seed is your propane refill station with the best prices. Deer corn, corn on the cob, and deer apples on sale right now at Oakland Feed and Seed, Oakland Road, Spindale.
Good Monday morning. It is a absolutely beautiful start to the work week. Expect to see mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies throughout the day today as highs climb into the mid-60s to lower 70s. By tonight, cooler air is on the way once again with partly cloudy skies and cooler conditions as the lows fall into the upper 30s to mid-40s tonight. Tomorrow, highs top out in the upper 40s to mid-50s with partly cloudy skies and cooler air continuing to move in. I'm Kat Campbell in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
Thanks very much, Kat. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls everywhere. We are starting our morning at 41 degrees. Mostly sunny today here in the foothills with highs around 64. Now, the temperature starts dropping this week, throughout the week, and by the weekend, it's still a little bit iffy right now, but they're telling us we may get some mixture of some things by the weekend, but it's too early to tell on that. That front could change any direction, and we'll keep our eye on that for you. But right now, today and tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday going to be beautiful here at the foothills. Let's enjoy those days. 64 today and a lot of sun. Welcome to Monday. It's the third day of December, already to roll over into this brand new month. Hope you had a good weekend. Rained a lot on Saturday, didn't it? Let's check these death announcements we have this morning. Catherine Crawford Moore, age 90 of Forest City, died November 29th at her home. Memorial services will be announced at a later date by the Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory. Again, that's Catherine Crawford Moore. Cromer Harold Curtis, age 84 of Forest City, died Sunday morning early at Atrium Health, Cleveland. Funeral arrangements are pending and will be announced by the Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory for Cromer Curtis. Georgia Lee Epley, age 83 of Old Caroline Road, Forest City, died Friday, November 30th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to the service time at the church. Graveside service will be held 11 o'clock today at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Georgia Lee Epley. James Donald Hunt, 82, of LaGrange, North Carolina, passed away peacefully November 30th at the Kitty Atkins Hospice Center in Greensboro. Graveside services will be held 3 p.m. today at Golden Valley United Methodist Church Cemetery. The family will receive friends following the service at the church. The Rutherford County Veterans Honor Guard will provide military honors. A celebration of life will be held 2 o'clock December the 9th at Community Baptist Church in LaGrange. Again, that's James Donald Hunt. Those are the death announcements we have in house this morning. The complete information on these and others can be heard today at 11:30, and then again at 5:10. It's part of the afternoon report here on WCAB in Rutherfordton. The Rutherford County Department of Social Services is accepting applications for the Crisis Intervention Program. This federally funded program assists eligible households that are in a immediate and life-threatening heating or cooling-related crisis. Heating assistance includes electricity, wood, coal, fuel oil, kerosene, or gas. Applications may be made at the Department of Social Services, Fairground Road, Spindale, Building C, and will continue to be accepted until all the funds are depleted. For more information about this program, you can call the Energy Department at 828-287-1248. Again, that's 287-1248. If you qualify for that, be sure to take advantage of that opportunity. Keep this in mind also, the Rutherford County Library is now pleased to announce that it accepts passport applications on behalf of the U.S. Department of State beginning last month. So if you're going somewhere, need an application, or a passport, that's where you can get them now at the library over there on Callahan Coon Road as well. Colorado News Report coming up here in just a few moments. We'll get you up to date on what's been happening over the weekend. Here on the most information for the Foothills, WCAB in Rutherfordton.
The rich are under attack again. This time it's because some well-off California homeowners dared to hire private firefighters to keep their homes from being destroyed during the latest wildfires. Now, despite what the drive-by media is saying, this is not something new. 10 years ago, insurance companies began offering homeowners an option to have dedicated firefighters protect their homes for a price. And it was a win-win. The homeowners felt safer, and the insurers minimized their risk. And these policies are not just offered to rich homeowners. A lot of middle-class homeowners buy them as well. But the media narrative is that rich California homeowners, including celebrities, saved their homes with private firefighters while the poor were burned out. The media also claims that the private forces supposedly don't cooperate with the government-hired firefighters, all of which misses the real point. In California, the biggest fire risk comes from elected liberal Democrats and their radical environmentalist wacko policies who refuse to manage the forests and get rid of the kindling. The citizens who realize this have wisely taken responsibility, and they're paying for it themselves. And that somehow is not fair. Hey, folks, 'tis the season for more shopping online, more booking travel, and all that activity while using your device leads to online identity exposure. Your personal information's going to be at risk. And if that information ends up in the hands of cyber criminals, you could have a bigger problem than an online store running out of the gift you promised your oldest. Now, it's a good thing there's LifeLock with Norton to help keep your holidays happy. LifeLock helps with threats to your identity, like someone opening accounts in your name, and Norton Security protects your devices against cyber threats like malware. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor transactions in all businesses. But if you've got LifeLock with Norton, you've got comprehensive protection for your identity and your devices. Just go to LifeLock.com or call 800-440-4833. Use promo code RUSH for an extra 15% off your first year. That's promo code RUSH for an extra 15% off at LifeLock.com.
From the county seat in Rutherfordton to the foothills of the Carolinas, you're listening to the best of both worlds. 100.9 FM and 590 AM. WCAB.
Nothing hurts my mom, that she showed anyway. She'd always say, you do what you need to do to take care of yourself. But she thought that meant she had to do it on her own. We were trained to help others, but there's strength in finding help for yourself, too. We're in this together. Even the toughest of us might not know where to go to get a little support.
Encourage women who have served to learn more about the VA care and benefits they've earned. The VA Women Veterans Call Center connects veterans with personalized information on VA services that can make a difference. Call 1-855-VA-WOMEN or visit www.womenshealth.va.gov. 1-855-VA-WOMEN or visit www.womenshealth.va.gov.
Health insurance is complicated, and with healthcare reform on the way, it's not getting any simpler. If you've got questions, we've got agents. Your local Farm Bureau insurance agent can walk you through the changes and offer you the right healthcare plan with the right benefits for you. Healthcare may be changing, but our superior service isn't. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
You know, when you need a plumber, you want someone with a reputation of getting right out to you and getting the job done for you the right way. That'll be Olmsted Plumbing. Since 1973, the Olmsted family has been serving homeowners and builders with the best of service. From unclogging a drain to replacing fixtures and appliances to remodeling jobs, their top quality work, fair prices, and punctual service has made them the area's leading plumbing firm. Eric and Chad are continuing that family tradition, and they'd like to serve you. Call 245-7302. Experience plus equipment equals excellence. Olmsted Plumbing at 245-7302.
John Abernathy, or Jack as he was called, was born in Texas. At the age of 6, he and his older brother would sneak away from home and play piano and violin in the local saloon. Following a shootout in the saloon with several victims, His parents discovered what he was doing and ended his entertainment career. But that didn't inhibit the enterprising young man. By the age of 9, he was working as a cowboy, and at 11, he went on his first cattle drive. At 15, Jack was breaking horses for Charles Goodnight. Jack acquired a couple of greyhound dogs. He found they would hunt wolves. He also discovered a unique way to catch them alive by jamming his hand in the wolf's mouth. It worked so well that on December 1, 1891, he started catching wolves full-time. Getting paid $50 per wolf, Jack caught more than 1,000 wolves, supplying them to zoos and traveling shows. Jack later became a deputy U.S. Marshal in Oklahoma. President Theodore Roosevelt learned about Catch 'em Alive Jack and came out west to see his skills. He was so impressed with Jack that he made him Marshal of Oklahoma. As a lawman, Jack ended up seeing close to 800 outlaws go to prison. Jack was called to New York to become a Secret Service agent and for a short time even worked for the Mexican Secret Service. Returning to Texas in 1919, Jack became a wildcat oil driller, making and losing a fortune. John Abernathy, a man who had defied death literally thousands of times, finally succumbed, dying of natural causes in Long Beach, California, at the age of 65. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Well, we are officially out of the football business as Thomas Jefferson lost that game Friday night to Robbinsville 32-13. They were on the way to a state championship, we thought, but Robbinsville stopped that Friday night 32-13 over TJ. Congratulations on TJ for what a great season they had, and East High School for their excellent season as well. Now let's go to the phones and find out what's been happening over the weekend. Connected on the other end is Officer Suttles. He has the report from the Sheriff's Department. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hope you are.
Yes, sir. Doing great, thanks. Tell us what's been going on over the weekend.
All right. In the last 24 hours, we've answered 189 calls for service, had 9 arrests, and currently housing 176 in the jail. Incident reports, James Davidson reported breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering. Shakira Davis reported breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering. J&K Used Cars reported larceny of a motor vehicle. Same was a 2000 Buick Century Custom, golden color. Maryland Waters reported breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering. Cheryl Baynard reporting breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering. Jimmy Tate reported obtaining property by false pretense. Gracie McCombs reported breaking and entering, felony larceny, and breaking and entering of a motor vehicle. Curtis Murray reported breaking and entering, felony larceny, and damage to personal property. Judy Pruitt reported damage to personal property. And Alan Roper reported breaking and entering of a motor vehicle, damage to personal property. For arrest, Tina Bowen was arrested for breaking and entering, damage to personal property, assault with a deadly weapon. She was held on a $2,000 secured bond. Braxton Atkins was charged with possession of marijuana. He had the other bond. Eddie Pageant was arrested for driving while license revoked, possessed a government-issued EBT card, and fictitious registration plate. He was held on a $2,500 unsecured bond. Michael Holland was charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. He was held on a $1,500 unsecured bond. Mark Williams was charged with misdemeanor probation violation, simple worthless check. He was held on a $18,500 secured bond. Jennifer Crawley was charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor. She was held on $2,000 secure bond. Blair Crawford charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor. She was held on $1,000 secure bond. And David Hollifield was charged with failure to comply and failure to appear on misdemeanor. He is held on a $250 secure bond, and that's all I have for you this morning.
Officer Settle, thank you so very much for that report, and you be safe out there today.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Bye-bye. That's a report from the Sheriff's Department. We'll find out about communications calls in just a moment.
George is doing it again. Check out these prices at Farmer's Friend. Feed, seed, and supply. Deer apples, $7.99 a bag. Peanut deer mix, $12.99 for a 50-pound bag. Cedar shavings, $6.99 while supplies last. Fish mucks, $15.99 for a 100 count. Propane is only $10.99 for a 20-pound tank. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply has the best price on dog food. Victor High Pro Plus, just $32.29 for a 40-pound bag. Call on Farmer's Friend for Wrangler, Sweet Feed, and so much more. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply, 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton.
Marie's on duty this morning at the Communications Center, and she's there to give us the report this morning. Good morning, Marie. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's on the report from the weekend?
Okay. In the past 48 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications Centers processed 756 911 administrative calls, which consisted of 60 for EMS, 27 for rescue. For law enforcement, the Sheriff's Department had 189. Ford City had 129. Lake Lure had 16. Rutherford had 45. Lake Lure, Spindle had 98. For fire calls, Cliffside responded to a structure fire assisted by SDO and Sandy Mush. Ellenburg responded to a motor vehicle accident. Ford City responded to an electrical fire and a vehicle fire. Green Hill responded to a structure fire assisted by Rutherford and Union Mills, also to a motor vehicle accident. Rutherford also responded to a motor vehicle accident. SDO responded to a motor vehicle accident. Spindle responded to a smoke report, and Sandy Mush responded to a motor vehicle accident. And that's all I have for the morning.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye. It's 7:22 here on WCAB, and we're starting out this morning at 41 degrees, warming up to 64, with a whole lot of sun today, it looks like. It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide daycare services for an aging parent or loved one. Rutherford Life Care can be just what you're looking for. Rutherford Life Care offers adults a safe and fun place during the day for medical monitoring, nutritional meals, and daily activities. Rutherford Life is licensed by the state of North Carolina Division of Aging. Call them today and let them answer questions you may have. That's 288-1697, 288-1697. Rutherford Life offers a staff of professionals who show the love and compassion that you entrust your loved ones to. That's Rutherford Life Care Services, located on Thunder Road, Spindale. Again, that phone number is 288-1697. Well, the oldest continuously family-owned and operated retail store in North Carolina is located here in Rutherford County. They continue their service to the community. Washburn General Store continues to serve the community after, maybe 187 years now. And they're ready for you to shop for Christmas. They've got a lot of great ideas over there. Particularly that Christmas candy is in, and they'd love you to come by and stock up on that as well. The items sold in store are locally sources as possible. Honeys, molasses, jams, and jellies are purchased from the Western North Carolina Farmers Market in Asheville. Africans made in the region also available. Candles. Why don't you check with Washburn General Store for that extra special gift? Something nobody else would think about giving, but it'd be something unique and special from a unique and special store, Washburn General Store, between Bostic and Sunshine on the Bostic Sunshine Highway. Here's Ruby Taylor now with a report from Danieltown, SDO Fire District. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report, Ruby?
Well, the fire department had a vehicle accident, and they also assisted Cliffside along with Sandy Mush on a structure fire. And on my birthday calendar, I got Johnny Mays having birthday today, and hope he has a nice day. And the signs are in the secrets today and tomorrow. And Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
It's time for you to test drive the affordable, fuel-efficient Ford Fusion from Sisk Family Ford in Forest City. Family-owned Sisk Ford can put you into the car you want with a payment plan you can appreciate. If it's a truck you want, get the Ford truck that's breaking records in sales. Ask about why the sales department is being bragged on with each and every sale that they make. They love your business at Sisk Family Ford, and it shows. New and used automobiles and an award-winning service department makes Sisk Family Ford the choice for so many. Step up to Ford today. Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
Gregory's Original Restaurant in the Park Lane Plaza is the perfect dining choice of Rutherford County. Greg offers all your favorite dishes. Try their delicious subs, grinders, pasta, chicken, burgers, fresh garden salads, and the most delicious steaks served with mushroom gravy or peppers and onions. Be sure to call on Gregory's for all your catering needs at 287-2171. Check out the website for menus and event information, www.gregorysoriginal.com. Gregory's in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherfordton.
26 now past the hour of 7. Let's check in up at Rumbling Ball and talk with Steve this morning, find out what went on over the weekend. Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Good morning, Jim. It's kind of foggy here this morning. Patchy fog. I don't know how bad it is. I don't remember how bad it was coming in. I didn't notice it, but right along our golf course, it looks pretty foggy, so I don't know. There's probably patchy fog in some places then. We had an interesting weekend. Of course, I did a little rock climbing myself. We did a Christmas tree lighting here, but not major activity. Just normal go for early December. We're getting closer to Christmas here, and folks are starting to take notice, and we might get a little bit of winter weather this weekend. So we're seeing what that pans out. The forecast has already fluctuated a little bit, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's a long time to the weekend, isn't it?
It is. So we'll see what happens.
Where did you go rock climbing?
Young's Mountain. I just decided to go up there. My partner that was going to go with me, last minute changes, so I went up there by myself.
No way.
It's not a good idea. I don't recommend anybody going up the way I went. But I took some pretty good pictures. It's real beautiful up there, top looking at the. Not many people go up there because it is a lot more tedious to get up there. On this side, anyway, there's some secret ways on the back, but I don't know. I haven't tried those. But otherwise, we had a pretty good weekend.
That's not where you have to hammer into the rock and climb up with the ropes and all that. That's not what you're talking about, is it?
Not quite, but I had to use a sturdy, I don't know if a climbing stick, and I had to hurl myself up. It's kind of, it's a place you got to lift yourself up on rocks. You kind of do have to climb 3 or 4 places, and you're on all fours in some spots. So it's not for everybody. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got down safe and sound.
Yeah, that was interesting too, but I better not talk too much about that. We're good. I took some good pictures coming down.
Yeah, it was good. You put them on Facebook?
Yeah, I did. I did. So, it was beautiful up there. So there's a lot of nice trails that are sanctioned, that are a lot more safe and beautiful along the way. This time of year is a good time to hike. The snakes are on the ground, and it's not too cold yet. So
that wasn't Saturday doing all that rain, was it?
Yeah, well, it's before the rain. So
you're a brave man.
I don't know. Brave probably isn't the word my wife used. I do want to make one mention. I don't know if anybody else has brought this up, but an institution in our area, Bills Creek Hardware, is closing the first of the year.
No way.
Yeah, they've been in existence for many years before I got here, and they've decided to close down. So they're running sales. I don't know what the sales are today, but they're selling off all the merchandise and trying to sell the store. So it's on Bills Creek, just about a mile north of Buffalo Creek Road here.
Yeah. I know exactly where that is.
So
I hate their closing.
Throw that out there. Other than that, I think we're caught up.
All right, Steve. Thanks for the report, and you be safe up there, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, Jim.
All
see
right,
ya.
Bye. That's Rumbling Ball reporting in this morning. It's 7:30.
43 years experience behind the name, voted best of best 8 years. That's why folks depend on Hutchins Pest Control. You can call on Tim and his team for moisture control, waterproofing, mold remediation, air quality control, dehumidification, and of course, pest control, rats, fire ants, termites, wildlife removal, and so much more. Call them today for your free estimate. 287-5171. Get the job done by the professionals and relax. Hutchins Pest Control, honest, dependable, and on-time service.
Well, don't pay the ransom, folks. He has escaped. He is back in pocket this morning. Bob Hodge, how you doing?
Oh, just fine this morning. I hope you are.
I'm doing well. Glad to have you back.
Well, glad to be back. Like I told Todd, I was back up here where I could see some dirt. All I've been seeing sand all week there.
Big difference.
But temperature's a lot cooler this morning than what I've been used to.
Yeah.
I've been used to low 80s in daytime and lows in the morning. 68 and 70 degrees makes a lot of difference when you get back up here.
Yeah, that's right. Welcome to the real world now.
Get back in the real world there. Sure is there, but it was nice. Well, it was pretty there, but we run into a lot of rain stuff coming back yesterday evening, but we made it back.
Where were you, Myrtle Beach? Myrtle Beach, where you were?
No, went to Florida. I've been in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a long way down there.
Yeah, about a little place called Witchy Watchy, Florida, on the west coast, and about 40 miles this side of Tampa.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I bet it was nice there then.
Yeah, that's a little place down there we go to down there, so, but it's nice, but sometimes it's nice to get back home too, so.
Sure, there's nothing like sleeping in your own bed, is it?
That's right, get back in my own bed there. But Jim, up here and around, I think over the weekend, it didn't have anything bad happen, so everything working good. Looks like the sun's going to come up pretty today, but they're talking about nasty weather by the end of the week again, so might have some snow around, so guess get prepared for that. So
yeah, go ahead and buy your milk and bread. Get ready.
Get milk and bread there. I'm going to have to go back to work. I'm going to have to drag in some firewood.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jim, you take care and have a good day.
Thanks, Bob. You too, and welcome back. We're glad to have you back, and you have a good day over there.
Okay, you too.
Bye. That's Bob Hodge reporting in this morning from the Hudlow Fire District, 733. You know, folks are buying gifts more sensible these days. Enough with a frivolous gift. Occasionally, once in a while, it's okay to stock a stuffing with something like that, but people are giving more serious gifts, and that's why folks are turning to Henson Building Materials, because you get great gift ideas, and they're sensible. It's something that folks can use. If you've got a worker on your list and they need some new work boots, I suggest the Rocky boots or the Georgia boots. While they're specially priced, why don't you check with Henson Building Materials and get your best price on them? They make great gifts. Also, if you're a person in your life likes the patio effect for sitting out around a low fire, they've got those patio heaters that are really priced right now really good. Still 30-inch fire pits, just $49.99. And on and on we can go. All kinds of tool kits. Great ideas for that person who don't want a frivolous gift, rather have something more sensible. Let Henson Building Material be your sensible shopping place. Meanwhile, keep this in mind. They've got the Ring Home Security product system that makes a great gift for the entire family. Great security. If you're a little nervous about your neighborhood, why don't you check on this Ring Home Security? Let them explain that to you. You'll find out how easy that is. You can work it off your smartphone there. If you want to look at that, so you can see who it is at the door, and all kinds of special features like that with that Ring Security system. Available at Henson Building Material. And remember this. Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus is coming to town. Yeah, coming to town. Here comes Santa Claus. That's December the 15th at Henson Building Material. McCurry-Dake Motors has been providing the stylish Buick for families for generations. Come browse a new selection and you'll find the car that everybody's talking about. The family-owned dealership is deeply entrenched in our community. They understand the needs of the customers and will work with them to find the perfect car, truck, or crossover for their lives. Experience the new Buick at McCurry-Dake Motors. Take a look around the website to learn more about everything offered at McCurry-Dake Motors, 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City. Cherry Mountain is our next stop, and that's where Sue Price is to give us a report update from that fire district. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
You feeling good today?
Well, I'm here.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You don't sound very encouraging, though.
Well, I'm having some little problems with my legs, so not doing too good. Got a nice morning starting out here, though. The sun's coming up. We got 44 degrees, so it's going to be a pretty day, looks like. And didn't have any calls from the fire department. That's a good thing. No birthdays or anniversaries on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I got a birthday for Reese Suttle, so I hope Reese go have a good day today. And nothing on First Broads today. Fairview's got an anniversary for Wade and Angela Owens, so hope they'll have a good day. We hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day. In my announcements, today is the day for the blood drive up at the Golden Valley Community Club, so come on out if you registered for that. If you didn't register and want to give blood, come on out and they'll work you in. And this is in honor of Robert Bradley. We're doing it in his honor because he's had to have a lot of transfusions. And I'm sure that during the December and the Christmas season and all that, we're going to be needing blood. They always do, so come out if you can. And so far, that's the only announcement I have, Jim. It's just quiet and calm, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
Thanks, Sue. I hope you have a good one to it. I hope you get to feeling better.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 7:37, right here on the Monday morning edition of the Call Around News Report. And there's many opportunities for you to get better hearing, courtesy of Miracle Ear. There's so many features you'll appreciate about the Miracle Ear Genius 2.0, particularly. Ask Lisa Terry about it. She's the hearing specialist. Boy, she really loves to help you. She really loves her patients, her customers, and they love her. Ask her about it when you are ready for a positive change in your hearing. It may be something that has occurred gradually, may have happened all of a sudden, could have happened for many different reasons. Loud industrial noise, loud music being played in your ear, or it could be a genetic thing. Just find out if you need a hearing instrument. If you do, Miracle Ear's got a lot of choices, and Lisa Terry would love to help you with that. You'll find her at 1512 West Main Street, Suite 102. That phone number is 368-4126. 368-4126. If you're closer to Shelby, you'll find her at 1506 East Dixon Boulevard. The entire team at Crow's Funeral Home and Cremation Services can help you with options available. They will help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved one. During this time, it's important to turn to someone you can trust and depend on. Crow's Mortuary and Crow's Mortuary and Crematory has a long history of trust and dependability. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory. That's 286-2304. The Kelly Report is next. That's where Brenda Kelly reports in to us all the way from Union Mills, North Carolina. How's the weather up there?
Well, it's pretty good. I've got 38 degrees on the front porch. I was just telling Todd we better enjoy today because it's going to be downhill weather-wise the rest of the week, ain't it?
It's going downhill, yes, sure is. Weather temperature is going to start plummeting.
Oh, we think we're in the deep freeze.
Well, I tell you, it's just the 1st of December. May start off with a loud roar.
And it's supposed to snow maybe, huh?
Well, it's predicting that may have some snow over the weekend, snow and sleet mixture. So we'll see. It's anything could change between now and then.
That crazy Chad Medford called me a while ago, and he said, "Brendan, won't you make an announcement?" I said, "What?" He said, "Get your pencil and paper." So I got my pencil and paper. He said, this Saturday. And so I said, "That's December the 8th. if it snows, then he said, bring your sled and come to Brenda Kelly's house. I said, you're crazy.
He is crazy.
He's a mess. I said, they're great friends. Well, they can. They can slide down the driveway, but they may end up in the creek.
Did you get a lot of rain up there Saturday?
We had I had an inch in the rain gauge. I didn't imp it until this morning, but there was an inch in it. So yeah, it rained. I was gone Saturday. This friend of mine, we do a girls' day out about twice a year. So we had it planned, so we went on and done it anyway because we was on the inside. It didn't matter if it was raining outside.
Sure.
But it rained. But we had a girls' day out and enjoyed it. So.
Good. How many girls?
Just me and her.
Okay. Well, that's
but that's enough to say girls, ain't it?
all you need to have a good time.
Yeah. We went and watched the movie and done a little bit of Christmas shopping, had lunch. So I finished my Christmas shopping, so I'm glad.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I got it all wrapped except for one gift, I think, so that's good. So I like to get it done and out of the way and get it behind me. But let's see, birthdays today, I've got Tyler Bridges, Jessica Hancock, Brad Walsh, Jean Hancock, and Mara Davis. I don't have anything on around here, so we hope all these people have a good old big day on their special day. And in ways of announcements, Merry Christmas. Join us for the annual Union Mills Christmas Party Thursday, December the 6th, 6 p.m., Union Mills Community House on Hudlow Road. Bring a covered dish, bring a small gift for door prize, and a gift of fruit, cookies, or candy for the cheer boxes for our shut-ins and friends in nursing homes, and they'll be packing 25 bags. So that's all I know of going on up here. I don't know of anything else. So.
All right, Brenda, keep up the good work up there. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good one. Catch you later.
Bye. 7:42.
Christmas in Rutherford County starts with a stop at the Recliner Center. With winter coming, you'll be spending more and more time indoors, so be comfortable and stylish with a new sofa, love seat, or an ultra comfort lift chair. And with company coming in for the holidays, what better time to purchase new Spring Air mattresses? You've heard us tell you doctors have said a good night's rest is important for good health, and Spring Air is dedicated to giving you the best in quality comfort and support. New merchandise is arriving daily. JD and Marie Shook want to thank you, their friends and loyal customers, for your business, thoughts, and prayers this past year. And they want to wish for all of you a very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. Their hours are Wednesday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 9 to 2. That's the Recliner Center on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton. And Merry Christmas from everybody at the Recliner Center.
Well, Gerald, Lynn, Clayton, Tony, and the entire team over there at Southern Carpet working hard to make your wishes come true. If you have a dream to have beautiful floors in your house, either hardwood floors or linoleum floors or any kind of floors you're looking for, a beautiful carpet, plush carpet, or a Berber carpet, whatever you're looking for in your floors, they can arrange that for you at Southern Carpet. They're the family-owned business that's been there over 20 years. And they can share a bit of Southern hospitality with you. They got more on hand, ready to install than anybody else. So when it comes time to making your floors look good, your homes or your commercial business, carpets, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, sheet vinyl, Tarkett flooring, all of that's available at Southern Carpet. Why don't you contact them when you're ready to make that house look a lot better? The phone number is 245-0310. Better yet, stop in over there, 1512 West Main Street, and get a look and feel of what they have in store for you. Now we're heading over toward Ellenboro. Luther Gilligan is on the phone to give us an update from Ellenboro. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice morning down here. The sun's coming up. Going to be a good day. We're going to have fun today. It's Monday. We get to go back to work. Later on all weekend, did nothing. Now it's time to get back ready. But it's fairly quiet down here. Part of them, they had called by 6 calls this morning. They're back. So they're quiet then. But we had 3 calls over the weekend and 1 accident. So other than that, they're pretty good. Didn't have a parade yesterday. Called it off. Somebody said they're going to have it next Sunday. I think next Sunday probably worse than this Sunday was. They're calling bad weather again next Saturday. But we'll see what happens. Let's see what we have birthday day. Judy Getty, she's having a birthday day. And Tyler Bridges had one, so hope they have a great day and enjoy their day. Jim, nothing else going on there. Well, now we're going to have something going on there 15th this month, 2 weeks from last Saturday. We're going to be having a big bake sale and bazaar out at the Women's Club. That'll run from 8 to 12 Saturday morning. That's on the 15th of December, the middle of December. So they want you invited to come on out, partake in it, and find just a thing to be in there. But you also find some goodies, some delicious cakes and pies and cookies. So just come on out and browse around. And nothing else happening, so you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Luther. Have a good one now.
All right, take care now.
Bye.
Luther Gilligan reporting out of Ellenboro. Now that leaves us time for a birthday party for this third day of December, the first Monday in December, and somebody's having a birthday, and we want to celebrate with you. Just call it to us now at 287-3356, 287-3356. Todd's standing by to take your calls. We'll put you in a drawing for some delicious daylight donuts from Granny B's. More than 1 million Americans have heart attacks each year. And if you or a loved one experiences symptoms of a heart attack, every second matters. That's why the emergency department at Rutherford Regional Health System is a chest pain accredited facility. What does that mean to you? It means quality care here at home that could save precious seconds when treating the symptoms of heart attacks. To learn more about Rutherford Regional and its commitment to safe quality care, visit myrutherfordregional.com. Now available at all, Stax Subs. Now at drop-in Stax Subs. Pick one of the new additions like American Sub, Italian, ham, pastrami, roast beef, turkey, or chicken. Only available at the drop-in stores. Also, hot Stax meatball or steak subs. Get Stax Subs at both Bostic and Shallow locations. You'll find it very delicious, and you'll want more of them once you've had one. Remember, the drop-in gives veterans 10% of all fountain and deli items every day, not just on Veterans Day. Drop-in is the only platinum sponsor of the Veterans Life Services in Rutherford County. We appreciate them for doing that, and I know you will too, so support them every opportunity you have. Come on, drop in.
It is so easy to keep your car running clean when you visit RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash. The RS Speedy Lube can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids, vacuum out the car, pull next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers. Then pull next door to the RS Speedy Lube Automatic Car Wash. Make your car feel clean all under and all over. It's possible at RS Service Center and Speedy Lube Car Wash, Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today while they're fresh. They're good. They're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Happy birthday. Well, happy birthday to Joey Piercy. Retired, lives in Rutherford. Want to wish Joey a happy birthday. Also celebrating is Donnie Harrell, 74 over in Forest City. Sue and Alan Hambrick of Bostic, 47 years. Wedding, I guess. T.J. Byers of Boiling Springs is 30 today. Melanie Matheny works at Forest City Family Medicine, is also having a birthday today. Melba Melton of Sandy Mush celebrating today. Also on the Gilkey Ruatan Club calendar, Tyler Bridges, Jessica Hancock, Brad Walsh, Gene Hancock, and Mara Davis, all celebrating birthdays today as well. So happy birthday, everybody. And we'll see in just a moment who's going to win the donuts, courtesy of Granny B's Bakery.
A desire to find new varieties of flowers took a group of botanists on an expedition to the Alps. After several weeks on location, one of the botanists was looking through his binoculars and located a very rare and beautiful species. There was just one problem, however. It was located at the bottom of a rather deep canyon. Nearby was a young boy from the area who was watching with interest the work of the botanist. One of the men asked the young boy if he would let them put a rope around his waist and lower him into the canyon to pluck the flowers. The boy said he would think about it and be right back. Off he ran. A short time later, he returned with an older man in tow. The boy said, "I'll go over the cliff now and get the flower for you, but this man must hold on to the rope. He's my dad." Fathers play an incredibly important role in the life of a son. They play a role no one else can play. We need to trust our Heavenly Father like the little boy. Rather than worrying ourselves almost to the point of sickness, we need to picture ourselves going into a difficult situation with a rope around our waist and God holding the other end. For you see, when we are in a helpless situation, He is right there to strengthen us and give us His help. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Why not visit us at our webpage at bwb.net/keys. And scripts for these programs are sold in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
And congratulations going out to Sue and Alan Hambrick of Bostic. They're 47 years together. They won the Daylight Donuts from the drawing this morning. So happy congratulations to the Hambricks. Sue and Alan Hambrick of Bostic, the winners this morning. We'll have that certificate over here for you. Stop by, pick it up. Coming up next hour, we'll have Terry Thomas on talking about where some jobs are for you. Go get those jobs and other news from here and there. Plus, at 8:30 this morning, Word of Faith continues to speak out and give their side of the story. Listen to their side of the story at 8:30 this morning.
California is quite the place this time of year. Like you, it's beautiful, girl, and like you, it's miles from here. Seems that missing you is all that I can do. All I want for Christmas is you. Need no presents under no Christmas tree. What good's a mistletoe, girl, if you're not here to kiss me? This jolly time of year, I can't help but feeling blue. 'Cause all I want for Christmas is you. All I want for Christmas is you. This holiday, and I know you'd be here if you could only get away. If Santa could bring me just one thing this Christmas Eve, I'd tell him to bring you here to hold me and to never leave. Stockings hung by the fireplace. Don't need all the candy canes. All I need is to see your face and hold you next to me. That's all.
NCN News. I'm Mike Riley. Flags at federal buildings are flying at half staff for 30 days as the nation says farewell to President George H.W. Bush. His son, former President George W. Bush, remembers him as father.
There was no doubt about how much he loved us, which I think is a very important
gift that a father can give to his children.
Former Secretary of State Colin Powell.
He was very, very cautious, and he would take it all in, and he would not make some jump decision out of nowhere. He would think it through and then decide what was best for the country, but not only what was best for the country, what's best for the world.
Interim president of UNC's system, Dr. Bill Roper, got to know George H.W. Bush in 1988 when the eventual commander-in-chief was preparing for his presidential run. He says he briefed Mr. Bush on health care issues, then went to serve on Bush's White House staff, even working with the former president on the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. Roper told CBS 17 he and the president even talked about Mr. Bush's ties to the Triangle.
Part of his flight training was in Chapel Hill, as there was a training center there and during World War II.
With a chance of snow this week in the mountains, people who love the outdoors soaked in what might have been the last really warm day of the year. It's almost hard to believe after a perfect Sunday, but as some are out there enjoying the sun, others are getting ready for the possibility of snow. Tyler Shelton was in Asheville enjoying the warm weather on Sunday. He tells WLOS News.
I just think this is typical Western North Carolina of having like a little bit of rain, a little bit of cold days, and then all of a sudden it's warm again. So I feel like it's just going to change sporadically as usual.
Charlotte will celebrate a milestone birthday today. Colonial Governor William Tryon authorized the city's founding on December 3rd, 1768. There'll be a big celebration today at Trade and Tryon Streets. You're listening to NCN News.
Are you protected in case you get sick or in an accident? Healthcare coverage is critical to getting and staying healthy and protecting us from unexpected medical bills. Going without health coverage is a risk none of us can afford. Walona Stallings is director of NC Get Covered.
We insure our phones to keep in touch. We insure our cars to keep us on the road. Ensuring our health keeps us thriving to do both and so much more. Now through December 15th, the health insurance marketplaces are open for business at healthcare.gov. There are multiple health plans available, and you may qualify for financial help to reduce costs. Need help deciding which plan is right for you? Assistance is available free of charge, either in person or over the phone.
There are more plan choices out there this year with variations in benefits and associated costs. Healthcare.gov is the best place to go to find the right coverage for you and your family. To learn more, visit ncnavigator.net before the December 15 deadline. I'm Alex Verdi reporting.
Overseas markets rose today after President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping reached a truce in the trade war. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Just the idea of a temporary trade truce was enough to get markets moving. Here in the U.S., the futures are looking higher, 1.5% to 2% higher. Overseas, all the markets are rising. And a lot of this has to do with the fear of the unknown. Right now, we still don't know, but we know it's not going to get worse than what's on the table, and nothing bad's going to happen in the 90-day period.
The Duke University Board of Trustees has made the decision to remove a controversial donor's name from a building on the college's East Campus. For nearly 90 years, it was known as the Carr Building. Duke University leaders say Julian Carr's background as known as a white supremacist is inconsistent with the aspirations of Duke University. Duke student Noah McKee tells CBS 17.
So it's really been a long time coming. I was kind of surprised it took so long. I think it's taken students holding the university accountable for it to change.
The UN Secretary General opened the climate summit in Poland today by giving a dramatic appeal to take the threat of global warming seriously and act boldly to avert a rise in temperatures before the end of the century. Antonio Gutierrez also said that climate change is the most important issue we face. Elisa Gilbert is with the Grantham Climate Institute.
Eventually, every country needs to head towards net zero emissions, and that means that coal is very eventually on its way out. There's a lot of sensitivity, and especially because Poland is the host this year, to understanding what we call just transitions, which is how we can move to a lower carbon future.
An online petition is urging government officials to allow the father of Hannah Aguilar to attend her funeral. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
Today's hits and yesterday's memories, WCAB Rutherfordton.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. As a nation remembers a president, his family remembers a dad and a grandfather.
While he was a part of the whole world, he was very grounded and
certainly made us all feel very loved and made us feel very special.
It's Ashley Bush, granddaughter to George H.W. Bush, who died over the weekend at age 94. Former president's remains are laying now. ABC's Jim Ryan is in Houston.
Every detail of the Bush memorials will be marked with formality. This morning, members of the family will accompany the former president's remains from a funeral home to Ellington Field, where the casket will be placed onto the blue and white Boeing 747, on which Mr. Bush took countless trips as president. A departure ceremony here will be followed by an arrival ceremony in Washington.
And after that, he will lie in state at the Capitol before a funeral in Washington at the National Cathedral on Wednesday. Wall Street encouraged by the 90-day truce in the trade war worked out by President Trump and the president of China. Futures pointing toward a strong open. Dow futures up over 400 points right now. No class for any kids in Anchorage, Alaska for the entire week. School Superintendent Dina Bishop says they have to check all the schools after that earthquake that happened on Friday.
Our primary concerns have been for the water damage that occurred.
In Northern California, classes are resuming for children from the burned-out town of Paradise for the first time in 3 weeks. Crisis talks are being held this morning in France after a weekend of riots in places like the Champs-Élysées. ABC's Ian Pannell is there.
A city, a country on edge after more violent protests this weekend in Paris left more than 100 injured. Much of the unrest along one of the world's most famous streets. Protesters known as the Yellow Jackets angry at rising gas prices and living costs.
A charter bus carrying a youth football team from Tennessee has crashed in Arkansas this morning. One child was killed, at least 20 more hurt, most of them children. It crashed about 20 miles outside of Little Rock. You're listening to ABC News.
It's happening to you every night. One snores and the other can't sleep. It seems like there's no end to it. But now, there is a quick and easy-to-use solution, a natural solution, Snore Stop. Snore Stop was created and tested by a team of physicians and has been helping couples sleep for over 18 years. It is the #1 selling anti-snoring medicine in the U.S.
Thank you, Snore Stop. You saved my marriage.
Snore Stop sprays or tablets are now available nationwide at Rite Aid and CVS. Or you can go online at snorestop.com. Don't wait. It's time to try Snore Stop and make every night a better night for both of you.
Thanks, Snore Stop. Now I'm back in the bedroom.
So don't wait. Try Snore Stop, the #1 selling anti-snoring medicine in the U.S. Spray or tablets are available today at Rite Aid and CVS or online at snorestop.com. That's snorestop.com. Snore Stop, keeping you together.
Police in Oklahoma are now trying to find a convicted murderer who just walked out of prison. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez says 34-year-old Patrick Walker pulled off a pretty sneaky switch.
The Department of Corrections says after he realized his cellmate, Charles Pendarvis, happened to closely resemble him, he convinced someone to post bond for Pendarvis, took his ID, and used it to walk freely out of jail Thursday night.
Police say that Walker should be considered armed and dangerous. Maybe more trouble for Britain's prime minister as she tries to sell the Brexit plan.
Growing ever more frustrated with her course of action, the prime minister could face contempt of parliament. The opposition Labour Party Attorney General says,
if the government does not comply with the order that the House of Commons passed, that would be a very serious matter indeed, almost a constitutional crisis.
A binding Commons vote last month demanded that the government brings before Parliament any legal advice on the UK's exit from Europe in full. Tom Rivers, ABC News, London.
A climate change summit involving nearly 200 countries is opening up this morning in Poland. Secretary General of the United Nations is calling on world leaders to take the threat of global warming seriously. He's also accusing developed countries of not doing enough to meet the goals of the Paris Climate Accord. President Trump pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accord earlier this year. This is ABC News.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Stop by Jesse James Railroad Express and enjoy the new Burger of the Month. It's a quarter-pounder Angus beef with premium cheese, crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and 3 succulent pieces of praline bacon, all nestled on a steamy, hot bun, waiting just for you.
Jesse, really? That's Jesse James, Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Jesse also has the praline BLT too. Stop by and check out the burger of the month.
Good morning. Today's forecast should make it a little easier to survive your Monday as highs climb into the mid-60s to lower 70s this afternoon. It'll be a beautiful day with mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies in the forecast, but enjoy the warmer temperatures while they last because cooler air settles in tonight under partly cloudy skies. Lows fall back into the upper 30s to mid-40s tonight, and by tomorrow, high temperatures in the upper 40s to mid-50s under partly cloudy skies. I'm Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
And currently here at WCAB, we are at 42 degrees, warming up pretty good today to 64, then start dropping this week. Temperature starts dropping in several paces and all the way through till we'll look at the weekend weather very closely, see what's going to take place on that prediction as it's right now. Right now it's calling for a little mixture of snow and rain and sleet and all that accumulate, but that's a long way till Saturday. We'll see. Well, Monday mornings, we always like to have Terry Thomas on the radio with us on our morning show to tell you where some job opportunities are. So you can go out and get those jobs, make a little money to buy some Christmas presents. So, Terry Thomas, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, sir.
Tell us where some jobs are, Terry.
Okay, we're going to start in the Forest City area. We have a manufacturing team leader position. This job requires a bachelor's degree, or you must be currently working on a bachelor's degree. You must have at least a year's experience, and this job pays $23 to $26 an hour, depending upon experience. We also have a regional quality assurance technicians for a communications company. This job requires a high school diploma and at least 3 years experience, and the pay depends upon experience. The same company is also looking to hire a senior service technician in the Forest City area. This job requires a high school diploma and at least 1 year experience installing telecommunications, and the pay depends upon experience. We have a bookkeeper position in the Forest City area. This requires an associate's degree and at least 6 months experience using QuickBooks. This job pays $12 to $14 an hour, depending upon experience. We also have an office and administration support worker position in the Rutherford area. This is a part-time job. You must have a year's experience with QuickBooks, Microsoft Word, and Excel, and you must have a high school diploma, and this job pays $8.50 to $9.50 an hour, depending upon experience. We also have a tool room technician position. This is working for a staffing agency. You must have 6 months experience, and it pays up to $15 an hour, depending upon experience. And we also have a financial services representative for a credit union in the Rutherford area. This job requires a high school diploma, and it pays $30,000 a year. Also, we have some manufacturing positions. This is an operator position. This job pays $16.25 an hour. You must have 1 year of manufacturing experience and a high school diploma. And they also have a lead operator position for the Mooresboro area. And there again, this requires 1 year of supervisory and manufacturing experience, a high school diploma, and this job pays $20 to $22 an hour. If you're willing to work in the Shelby area, we have an employer that will be interviewing in our office tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This will be for a warehouse position working at the Walmart Distribution Center. This job pays $12 an hour. You must have a high school diploma or GED. And there again, this is working through a staffing agency. So if you'd like to be interviewed, you will need to come to our office tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it'll be on a walk-in basis. And these are just a few of the jobs that we have available at the Rutherford County NC Works Career Center. We are located at 223 Charlotte Road, Rutherford. For more information on these or other positions, you can call us at 286-3042, or you can go on our website at www.ncworks.gov.
Terry, thank you so very much for that information. We hope folks will respond to those and go out and get those jobs.
It's my pleasure.
See you next Monday.
Yes, sir.
Right, bye. That's Terry Thomas reporting in this morning. It's 10 minutes after 8 o'clock here on WCAB's Morning Wake Up Call. My name's Bishop. Jim Bishop. Got a book in my hand I want to give away. I've been trying to give some of these away for several weeks. I've been so slam tight with time, I just haven't not been able to do it. This is the Jim Owens book, The Legend of the Dyersville Plymouth, based on true stories. The book is about the times of growing up in the 50s as a baby boomer, living on a farm and then moving to town, becoming a teenager, witnessing the growing pains of post-World War II America and the turbulence of the Vietnam War and its consequences on American society. This book has romance and adventure from cruising around town to actual accounts of the things that happened during that era that have diminished over time. Sock hops, car hops, the county fair, the beginning of rock and roll from Elvis to British invasion, to men landing on the moon, to America's march to the new drumbeat for freedom and equality, and the street drag racing scene of teenage America. This book puts the spotlight on the late 60s, which were the times that I call magical. That's the words of Jim Owens. If you'd like to have this copy of this book, he signed it already. The Legend of the Dyersville Plymouth, based on true events spotlighted in the 1960s. I've got one just for you if you'll be caller number 3. Caller number 3 at 287-3356. Caller number 3, the book is yours. And I'll be back with an update and some thoughts on President George H.W. Bush. I'll do that in just a moment.
'Tis the season to make your plans to visit the Simply Divine gift shop in Hardin's Drug. A showroom full of Christmas ideas like Vera Bradley, Spartina handbags, a full line of Melissa and Doug toys, ladies designer clothing, jewelry, footwear by Avanti, Ginger Snaps interchangeable bracelets, Christmas home decor, and stocking stuffers galore. Beautiful selections all over the store. That's Simply Divine gift shop inside Hardin Drug on Church Street in Forest City. We'll see you at Simply Divine.
It's the Don't Wait Come In Now pre-Black Friday sale at Carolina West Wireless. With huge early bird savings on the devices that keep you connected. Like $200 off the iPhone 8, $150 off the latest iPads, and more. So don't wait to save on iPhones or iPads. Come into our Forest City store for the Don't Wait Come In Now pre-Black Friday sale. Carolina West Wireless. Go stay connected. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
Cozy Home is helping you get ready for the holidays, and now they're in their new location in the basement of Graham Cash at 149 East Main Street in Forest City, offering the same crazy low prices. Get everyone on your list a special Cozy Home gift this year. Take advantage of their low prices on everything in the store: pillows, sheet sets, blankets, mattresses, matching towel sets, plush throws, quilts, baby blankets, robes, rugs, decor pillows, and much more. It's Cozy Home for the holidays. 149 East Main Street in the basement of Graham Cash Store in beautiful downtown Forest City. Open Monday through Friday, 10 till 5:30, Saturdays, 10 until 4.
New permanent location for Cozy Home. We hope you'll visit that. Congratulations to Darlene Padgett. Darlene Padgett was a correct caller this morning. Got herself a copy of the book, The Legend of the Dyersville Plymouth. We'll have that book here for you. So please come by and pick that up. Well, in spite of whatever you think of George H.W. Bush's politics, in spite of whatever you think, he was an honorable man. Indeed, had a great history, did a great service to our country, and he was an honorable man, regardless of what you think of his politics, regardless of the negative attitude of so many folks. George Bush was a man of honor. Had the privilege of meeting him a number of years ago up in Asheville. I have a picture on my wall at home of he and I standing there together, shaking hands, and got a note from him later on. Have that on my wall as well. I had a chance to meet him, and I told he's an humble man in spite of the fact that he was vice president, president. Bush's final days of life began with a visit from Jim Baker, his close confidant, who had served him as Secretary of State and White House Chief of Staff. And according to this report, George H.W. Bush didn't lose his sense of humor even as he was letting go of life. Surrounded by loved ones Friday night as he lay in bed at home in Houston, he was approached by the wife of his longtime friend James A. Baker III, who was in the room with her husband. She raised a hand and placed it on the former president's forehead before telling him, "We love you very much, Jeffy." That's using the Spanish word for chief that her husband says he used to address Bush. And as she did that, he cocked one eye open, quipped, "Well, you better hurry." James Baker recalled, as he described the 41st president's final hours of life, his sense of humor was intact right up to the very end. His passing was really very peaceful. No struggling, no pain at all. She said, "We love you very much, Jeffy." He says, "Well, you better hurry." Bush, who was president from 1989 to 1993, died late Friday at the age of 94. His passing ushers in nearly a week of remembrance and tributes in Washington, where Bush will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol following a ceremony there tonight. A memorial service is set for Wednesday at Washington National Cathedral before Bush is returned to Houston to be laid to rest Thursday at his presidential library at Texas A&M University in College Station. He will be buried in the family plot along Barbara, his wife of 73 years, who died in April, and Robin Bush, the daughter they lost to leukemia back in 1953 at age 3. Bush's final day of life began with a visit from Baker, who had served him as Secretary of State and White House Chief of Staff. He expected to see Bush asleep when he stopped in at 7:15 a.m. to check on his former boss, but Baker says he was alert. During a blitz of appearances on 5 Sunday talk shows, Bush hadn't left his bed in the past 3 or 4 days and also hadn't been eating. But on the morning of his friend's visit, he downed a big breakfast consisting of 3 boiled eggs, yogurt, and a pair of fruit drinks. We all begin to think, well, here we are. He's going to surprise us again. It's another bounce-back day. Bush had been in and out of the hospital in recent years, primarily due to the Parkinson's disease that Baker said hampered his body's ability to get rid of phlegm, often causing pneumonia. But each time he was hospitalized, each time loved ones thought that time might be the last, Bush rallied and was released, free to return to his home in Houston, or the family compound in Kennebunkport, Maine. There was no bouncing back this time. By the time he got back here to Houston from his summer in Kennebunkport, I think he was pretty much ready to go. The quality of life had deteriorated a lot for him. Bush's condition further declined after Baker's visit with him on Friday. While he and his wife, Susan, were on the way home after dinner, Baker said he was called back to Bush's bedside. About 2 hours later, Bush was gone. After it became clear that death was imminent, they got all the Bush kids on the phone with son Neil Bush, the only one in the room. Each one spoke to the former president, and he mumbled back. Baker said another son, former President George W. Bush, was the last one on the line, telling his dying father how much he loved him and promising they would see each other again in heaven. And according to Baker, 41 said, "I love you too," and those were the last words he spoke. Baker said when his presence was announced to Bush earlier Friday, he opened his eyes, he looked at me and said, "Bake, where are we going today?" I said, "Well, Jeffy," I said, "we're going to heaven." He said, "Good, that's where I want to go." Little did I know, or did he know, of course, that by 10 o'clock that night he'd be in heaven. Quite an honorable man, a great history, great military person, great military leader, a great man of esteem, and in spite of the fact what you think of his politics, we have to honor the life of George H.W. Bush. It's 19 minutes after 8 o'clock right here on WCAB in Rutherfordton.
Do you need some extra money in your pocket? Try Insurance Service Associates, your local independent agent. We can shop your auto and home insurance with several companies to get you better coverage and the best rate. Insurance Service Associates at 127 East Trade Street in Forest City for auto, home, or commercial insurance. More choices, better coverage, best rate. That's Insurance Service Associates, 245-5301.
Did you know that Rutherford County's largest pediatrics practice has 5 providers to serve the children and youth of this area? And even better, Rutherford Children's Care is welcoming new patients. With 3 physicians and 2 mid-level providers, the group is available to examine, diagnose, and treat patients from birth to age 18. Rutherford Children's Care is conveniently located at 162 Commercial Drive in Forest City, just behind Big Dave's Restaurant. To schedule an appointment, call Rutherford Children's Care at 828-287-9325.
The flu season will soon be upon us, and Smith Drugs of Forest City is ready to provide these immunizations at the drugstore at your convenience. We will bill your insurance, and one of our pharmacists can administer the vaccine to you Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. and on Saturdays by appointment only. Remember that a flu immunization is the best way to prevent getting the flu, in addition to washing hands, covering your mouth when you cough or sneeze, and staying home when you are sick. Prepare yourself and protect those around you with a flu immunization this year. Come see us at Smith Drugs of Forest City, 139 East Main Street.
When you write your letter to Santa, be sure to include Connor Computer this year for those laptops and computer needs. They offer new machines and laptops, networking equipment, and computer parts. Connor Computer also has a store full of vintage antiques and collectibles, glassware, furniture, and so much more. Shopping is fun at Connor Computer. Shop Connor Computer December the 4th through the 20th. Everything in the store is on sale. They're at 142 West Court Street in Rutherford, or give them a call at 287-0003. Christmas shopping just got a little bit easier for you and Santa from your friends at Connor Computer.
Now here is Officer Suttles with a report from the Sheriff's Department we aired earlier and recorded it for broadcast at this time. Officer Suttles?
In the last 24 hours, we've answered 189 calls for service, had 9 arrests, and currently housing 176 in the jail. Incident reports: James Davison reported breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering. Shakira Davis reported breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering. J&K Used Cars reported larceny of a motor vehicle. Same was a 2000 Buick Century Custom, gold in color. Marilyn Waters reported breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering. Cheryl Baynard reporting breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering. Jimmy Tate reported obtaining property by false pretense. Gracie McCombs reported breaking and entering, felony larceny, and breaking and entering of a motor vehicle. Curtis Murray reported breaking and entering, felony larceny, and damage to personal property. Judy Pruitt reported damage to personal property. And Alan Roper reported breaking and entering of a motor vehicle, damage to personal property. For arrest, Tina Bowen was arrested for breaking and entering, damage to personal property, assault with a deadly weapon. She was held on a $2,000 secured bond. Braxton Atkins was charged with possession of marijuana. He had the other bond. Eddie Pageant was arrested for driving while license revoked, possessed a government-issued EBT card, and fictitious registration plate. He was held on a $2,500 unsecured bond. Michael Holland was charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. He was held on a $1,500 unsecured bond. Mark Williams was charged with misdemeanor probation violation, simple worthless check. He was held on a $18,500 secured bond. Jennifer Crawley was charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor. She was held on $2,000 secure bond. Blair Crawford charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor. She was held on $1,000 secure bond. And David Hallfield was charged with failure to comply and failure to appear on misdemeanor. He is held on a $250 secure bond, and that's all I have for you this morning.
From the county seat in Rutherfordton to the foothills of the Carolinas, you're listening to the best of both worlds. 100.9 FM and 590 AM. WCAB.
It's 8:25. Sports Update is next.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. The Carolina Panthers are owners of something they wish they could return to the store, a 4-game losing streak. Cam Newton threw 4 interceptions in Carolina's 24-17 loss to the Bucs in Tampa. Newton acknowledged his day was embarrassing with 4 interceptions, but Ron Rivera said it was Jameis Winston's 249 yards and 2 touchdowns that did the damage.
Jameis hurt us big time with his mobility, tucking the ball and running a couple times, converted some early first downs for them, and that kept us off balance a little bit as well.
If the Carolina Panthers are to right their ship and get out of this frustrating tailspin, 4 straight losses, they'll have to do it without Pro Bowl tight end Greg Olsen. He re-injured his right foot in yesterday's loss to the Bucs. The college football playoff semifinals are set.
Oklahoma edges out Georgia for the 4th and final college football playoff spot. In a game that will pit the 2 quarterbacks currently leading the Heisman Trophy race, the Big 12 champion Sooners, led by Kyler Murray, will travel to Miami to face Tua Tagovailoa and top-ranked Alabama in the Orange Bowl. The Cotton Bowl will feature a pair of undefeateds who switch their starting quarterbacks midway through the year when second-ranked Clemson meets third-ranked Notre Dame. The semifinals take place on Saturday, December 29th, with the championship game taking place in San Francisco on Monday, January 7th. I'm Denny Kopp.
You know, and all the bowl games were announced yesterday. North Carolina programs got 4 bids. On December 15th, Appalachian will do battle with Middle Tennessee in the New Orleans Bowl. Wake Forest goes against Memphis on December 22nd in the Birmingham Bowl. Duke has drawn Temple and the Independence Bowl on December 27th, while NC State will play Texas A&M under the lights on New Year's Eve in the Tax Slayer Bowl at Jacksonville. Hockey last night, the Hurricanes on the West Coast in a late game. They were shut out by the Kings 2-0 in L.A. On the pro court, the New Orleans Pelicans beat the Hornets 119-109. This is NCN Sports.
What's the best-selling small tractor in America? Kubota's BX Series Compact. Now get a BX 1880 for as low as $99 a month with 0% APR financing for 84 months. Now through December 31st, 2018. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
Basketball season is here, and so is the 2018 ACC Basketball Preview Magazine. You can find it on newsstands everywhere and online right now at ACCSports.com. Get to scoop on all the teams with predictions from the experts, recruiting news, and rankings of the best ACC players and teams. No other magazine dedicates 10 pages to each ACC school, each jam-packed with stats and information. Want a copy shipped to you? It's easy. Just go to ACCSports.com and click on the Basketball Preview banner.
Kubota's L2501 DT packs powerful performance in one easy-to-operate compact tractor. Now get payments as low as $135 a month with 0% APR financing for 84 months. Now through December 31st, 2018. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
Following Green Bay's 20-17 loss at Lambeau to the weaker Arizona Cardinals, Packers president Mike Murphy announced the firing of coach Mike McCarthy, saying his season has not met the expectations and standards of the team. Fan reaction to McCarthy's midseason dismissal has been mixed.
I personally liked him for a long time. I defended him for the last few years, but I think it is time for a change.
I think they should have waited until after the season, really get everything set in place.
Yesterday's loss drops Green Bay to 4-7-1 on the season. Offensive coordinator Joe Philbin has been promoted to interim head coach. Panthers owner David Tepper is becoming increasingly frustrated with his team's recent performances and is mulling major changes if the results don't change quickly. Multiple league sources say Tepper's been reaching out to his confidants and associates around the league in recent weeks and expressing he may need to shake up his new organization. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Good morning. Today's forecast should make it a little easier to survive your Monday as highs climb into the mid-60s to lower 70s this afternoon. It'll be a beautiful day with mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies in the forecast, but enjoy the warmer temperatures while they last because cooler air settles in tonight under partly cloudy skies. Lows fall back into the upper 30s to mid-40s tonight, and by tomorrow, high temperatures in the upper 40s to mid-50s under partly cloudy skies. I'm Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Kat. It is now 44 degrees under semi-cloudy skies. We should be getting a lot of sun today, getting up to about 64 for the daytime high, and only a 5-mile-per-hour chance of wind. So it's going to be a pretty nice day, so go out and enjoy it. It's 8:30. This is WCAB Rutherfordton. Welcome to the Word of Faith Responds. This series of programs will address the issues concerning the negative news reports. This program is paid for by Word of Faith, and the views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the management and staff of WCAB. Now here is Word of Faith Responds.
Good morning. This is Word of Faith Responds, or Word of Faith Speaks Out. And Ray, we left right in the middle of the miracles that were happening in your life. This man told us on Friday about a lifestyle that was developed in the 60s and 70s. And there are many of you listeners that recall the turmoil and things that happened in the 60s and 70s that were just amazing. And Ray talked about being trapped in a lifestyle of drugs and LSD and rock and roll music and all of those things that he was involved in. He told us about that. You're going to hear the rest of the story today. He's going to tell us what happened and how he had a career in the music industry and what happened in his life and when he turned his heart to know the Lord Jesus Christ. And sitting beside me is Brenda, his beautiful wife, and they're going to tell you about their family today and what happened to both of them. And we believe in the power of the gospel of Jesus Christ that transforms hearts and transforms lives. And Ray and Brenda are a miracle to what God did in their life. And they're members of the Word of Faith Fellowship, and they're going to share with you what God did in their life. Ray, tell the listeners.
Well, I'd like to pick up, like Carol said, where we left off there, and we were, living in Indiana, moving to Nashville at that time. We were in Indiana at a coffee house type ministry, and you have to understand what was going on in the world at that period. The church, there was major magazines showing God is dead on the front cover. All these, the churches themselves were losing people.
And this is like way in the 60s, the
70s.
Yeah.
The late 60s, the beginning of the 70s. There was just an exodus out of the church, or the youth. All the youth, which truthfully in many ways is very similar today, because the millennials are not necessarily going to church. They're going different places that they don't particularly need to go. But back at that time, because of all that, you had all this whole hippie generation, and the hippie generation basically, started to discover who God was, but they didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know how to deal with it or what to do with it, and so churches started popping up. There was a major church in Southern California that was really one of the main churches that started the whole area, but they were bringing kids off the street, musicians, all those types of things. And then coffee houses like ours, were going on and doing things. And so all these people were coming out of their idols and doing their things. But it was very similar. The children of children of Israel, when they came out of Egypt, they came out of 400 plus years of living in all that paganism, living in all those idols, so they had bathed themselves in all this junk, Well, it was the same way with us. Like I had shared earlier in the previous show, it was all this music, all this culture, all these drugs, all these things. That's all you ever did. Now all of a sudden, we're going into the church. I know for me, it was an interesting thing. When I stopped doing the drugs, I stopped listening to rock music, because obviously I knew enough that rock music had a major impact, and the message it was bringing me, so I stopped doing it. But then when I was traveling with the evangelist, like I said, somebody gave me 2 cassette tapes. And those cassette tapes actually were rock music with Christian lyrics. So all of a sudden I was reintroduced back into all this rock music. I thought, oh, it's okay. I can listen to my rock music now, because it has Christian lyrics in it, But the thing that you got to begin to see is the children of Israel, when they came out of Egypt with all those idols, they went into the wilderness. And when Moses left them and went up on the mountain, they went to Aaron and they just said, we need you to build our idol again. We need a golden calf. We want you to give us this, because this brings us security. This brings us everything there is. And when Moses came down off the mountain, one of the things that I always noticed was he didn't see them right away, but he heard them. And in hearing them, they were dancing, doing music, doing all the profane things they had learned, when they were in Egypt. Well, that's what we did. we came out, and the pastors in the churches and all those that, they gave their pulpits over to all these people, because they would sing songs. They didn't know any better. The musicians didn't know any better. They just knew somebody had helped them. His name was Jesus, and so they're going to sing about him. And so they started singing about him. And the more they sang about him, the more the people all of a sudden gave them room to do what they were doing. And not only did they give them room, but they noticed they were filling the pews. More people were coming in. So they gave more and more and more, until that whole Jesus movement was formed. And not only was it formed, but the music that came behind it was formed. And that's when we moved to Nashville. We became, we moved right on Music Row. We were 2 or 3 blocks down the street from where all the country, rock, gospel music was recorded. We were right in the thick of it, And Nashville, truthfully, is a mecca for all this type of situation. And everybody thinks they go there, they're going to go there and become stars. They're going to go there. And most of them go there and they're destroyed. And they're literally destroyed. If they're either destroyed because nothing happens, or they're destroyed because so much happens and they give up what they were all coming there to do in the first place. But in that period of time, there was a famous artist that was, Christian so-called artist, and he sang a song, and that song was called "Why Should the Devil Have All the Good Music?" And really, in truth, that was the anthem of contemporary Christian music, because we kept saying, well, we should be able to have the same type of music. We should, and the whole time, I'm going to read Ezekiel in 26 and 7. It said, "On that day I lifted up my hand and swore to them," he's talking about bringing the Israelites out of Egypt, "swore to them to bring them out of the land of Egypt into a land that I have searched out for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is an ornament and the glory of all lands. Then he said to them, let every man cast away the abominable things on which he feasts his eyes, and defile not yourself with the idols of Egypt. I am your God." But he says, "But they rebelled against me." And that's really what happened in the Jesus movement. We never turned from our idols. We just recreated them in a whole different form, and started to think, well, that's acceptable. And truthfully, there was no one out there saying, anything different, and it was, the artist that said, "Why should the devil have all the good music?" In James 4:4 it says, "You adulterous, flirting with the world, breaking your vow to God, do you not know, being the world's friend, that is, loving the things of the world, is being God's enemy? So whosoever chooses to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God." And that's all we wanted. We wanted to be accepted by the world. We were there, we were doing things. We were trying to be on the main magazines, or trying to be on the cover of, or to be featured in certain, things. And it was empty. It was nothing. It was getting us nowhere, in it.
Yes. And in the middle of it, we're loving, it's a love-hate thing. You're loving being a part of this, loving, it's fulfilling that void in you that you are trying to fill with, that God wants to be in, and you're filling it with other things. But we got deeper and deeper into this. We would go to all the award shows and be with all the people that were famous, and of course, like I had said in the last program, it fed something in me where I loved to be around all of this. During that time in Nashville, I met someone who was a singer at the Grand Ole Opry, and so we ended up going to the Grand Ole Opry all the time and going backstage and meeting all the famous people back there, loving it and hating it, loving it, hating it, knowing I didn't belong there, but there's still that thing, loving it. And so it was a constant war in your heart, constant conflict in us, especially in me. I think Ray was a little... I was
caught up.
He was caught up more than me, but, I wasn't any help to him. I was just floundering, like I said, and following everywhere he went. everything he did, I just went right along with it.
I mean, like I said, when we got there, we opened an agency. It was called Tame Agency at the time, and it was a booking agency. You know, all these churches now that wanted to have these groups, you know, come in and help fill their churches, they wanted to go somewhere to call to get the groups. So we had a whole roster of artists, and it was a who's who of contemporary Christian music at that time. And I managed several of the groups. Not long after that, I started the first record company I had, which was Refuge Records. And it was considered, again, it was supposed to be a hiding place for secular artists to come do their Christian music. You know, and it was nothing more than Ray gets to build a record company with all his idols so he can listen to the music that he always loved, you know. And each one of these, you know, if I had time, I went down it, I could show you, well, this guy sounded like this guy sounded like that guy. In fact, at one point, there was a gentleman that put out a book about Christian music, and in the back of the book was an index. And the index was, if you like this group, this is the group you should then listen to. So otherwise, if you like this secular band sounds like this group with Christian lyrics. And so that's what was being built the whole time. You know, we were just transferring the idols into a whole different package, but they became the same idols, you know, and they were the same thing.
You need to tell them how you produce the music.
And then when we do the music and how we produce the music, it was like we'd bring stacks of records, you know, into the studio, and we'd listen. Of secular records, yeah. And we'd listen. We'd listen to the drum sounds. We'd listen to the different production concepts, and, you know, we'd imitate it. You know, it wasn't like this freshness or the lyrics. You know, it was always interesting because there's a lot of writing houses in Nashville, and the lyrics of many of the songs that come out are determined more by, you know, what, and not everyone, but I mean, they're determined more by what's the best thing we could write, what will get the most airplay. You know, and it was always second coming type songs. It was all, you could list the different types of songs that, that would work. And writers would go to work and they'd form the songs because they knew they would write it for this artist or that artist, and they would give them. And so really, a lot of the artists, they didn't really have their own opinions and stuff. Well, obviously they took on the opinions or the feelings of what actually was coming in the song, but it wasn't them. They weren't the writers, a lot of them. Some were and some weren't, you know, but it just was, you know, fictitious, you know, just going on.
And there were many that had such hearts to, in the beginning, to serve God and want to glorify God, but they got caught up in the machine.
You know,
it's a machine, yeah.
I mean, truthfully, we thought most of the time that we were serving God.
Oh, yes.
And we thought we were trying to do things that you know, ultimately would bring people to a knowledge, you know. But in the midst of it, the devil had us. You know, he had put that seed way back over here in our growth, and that's why I shared so much about that in the first program. And, you know, a lot of you don't realize what that seeds are that have been planted in your life, you know, and what happens as you grow older and those seeds begin to grow in you and they become who you are. And God never intended you to be those people. He intended you to be someone totally different, you know. And so, you know, for me, it was that. And I traveled all over the world. I produced records in Paris. I produced records in Sweden, in England, Australia. I signed groups in Australia. I would go everywhere. South Africa. You know, I'd be gone all the time. You know, Brenda would be home.
I was home by myself.
By ourselves.
I mean, we had a core group of friends that were dear to us, and they're still dear today, and I'm grateful for them. But I was a little lost puppy, and I ended up staying at home a lot because I was just inward and felt lost, and so it was after that we ended up coming out of Nashville. Well, you better tell that part, yeah.
Well, before we left Nashville, we started. Brenda will tell you that I started a new company every other week, or I started you know, it was always something new.
He always come home. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start this new company. I'm going to sign this artist. I'm going here. I'm going there. And I would just listen to it. Okay. And he would go do it, and then I would stay home.
And I'd be on the move. I'd be
and
gone.
he'd be on the move. Again, that was just always creating.
Yeah, and I was back and forth to Los Angeles a lot. And then in the mid-'80s, I decided that, and along with one of the guys that was working with me, we wanted to build a bridge. You always thought, well, this was the whole concept of contemporary music. Let's reach these people that needed to know about Jesus. So one of the areas that we felt like we really wanted to reach into was heavy metal music, and so we started, in the end, became the first heavy metal Christian, not that it was Christian, but the first heavy metal Christian label that there was. It was called Pure Metal Records. And honestly, when I look back, I really don't understand even what I was thinking. But because that whole music genre, it was nothing but black. Everything about it was black. The people, was not unusual. They all dyed their hair black. They wear mohawks. They do whatever, skinheads. They look and appear just like the headbangers that are out in the world. The metal people, and it was. I mean, their T-shirts, their imagery, their all the different parts of them. That was always Gothic medieval writing that had this whole sense of, Satanism is really in the end, and they just so looked. And the problem was we're building this bridge, and as we're building the bridge, we never really understood that bridge has a two-way street, and as much as what we were doing to reach the headbangers, the heavy metal people, all that same culture came in the church, because they started listening to all the things that we had opened them up to, and I mean, the tattoos came, the piercings came, the different, and it was nothing, it was nothing. I mean, Leviticus says very clearly about the cuttings and the tattoos, and a lot of people want to discount and say, oh, well, that's the Old Testament, it's all this. I'm sorry, but, God doesn't want you to live a life where you idolize people that act and are everything but, if not all, Satanists, And so why would you even want to be anything like that? But we did that. And it was after we did that it was not long after that my dad passed away. And we moved back to Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And so when we moved to Allentown and got out of Nashville, that was when the fog began to lift off of us. When we look back, that was when I began to start to see some things. I would look around, I'd see the album covers that were being put out, the way the artists were looking. It was very worldly, and I kept saying, Ray, something's not right here. But and he had said we started the metal thing, but it wasn't we, it was him. He started the metal thing. Well, it was me
and another gentleman. I had
nothing to do with it.
She was very verboten.
But
no.
I'll tell you, when the blinders really came off of me was he brought home a promo picture of one of the heavy metal artists that they were going to be doing, and I looked at that and I thought, Ray, something is desperately wrong. This is not right. And I put my foot down there. Now, he kept going with it because it was already a moving machine. But, I mean, it was like, this is not right. And God was continually then taking the blinders off. And at this point, well, the children, we were having the children by this time. We had our daughter, Ashley, and less than 2 years later, we had our son, Jordan. And when they came, we were wanting to get our lives better, back on track more, for their sake, if nothing else. I mean, I wanted them to be raised right. And like we had said, we hadn't been going to church. We'd been caught up in everything around us, and so we went back to church. And I remember when I went back to church and they started singing, I cried the entire service. I cried the entire service. I was so grateful to God to be back where I belonged, in church. And so things began to change. I mean, well, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing that really started to take the blinders off me. We got an offer, and we moved up to Pennsylvania. So now I'm going in and out of New York City all the time. And we got a distribution deal with a major secular company because that was always the end goal was to be with the world. I mean, I'm sorry, but that was the end goal. And the ultimate achievement would be you would be with them in what they were doing. And so they gave us a large distribution agreement, but it required us to do a lot of records. Truthfully, we didn't agree with. But they had us do another big film company came in and asked us to do a soundtrack. And so they invited me and the other gentleman that was with me down to view. We did the soundtrack. It was a major band that was regrouping, and the soundtrack was a movie. It was a summer movie. And so they invited us down to it wasn't the premiere, but it was like the screening of the movie. So we sat down, and we're sitting down, actually we're right near the front, and they started to roll the film. And I watched it, and then you got to see
credits. Yeah.
The credits. Yeah, you got to see, there's your name, not personal name, but the name of our company, really big. And then we thought, you think, wow, we've made it. Look at this, we've made it. So the movie starts to play. Well, the movie was terrible. I mean, it was everything that we were not supposed to be. And at one point in the movie, I turned over to the guy that was with me, and I said, we've sold our soul. Because the movie was R, almost X-rated, and here we are, supposedly, Christians, trying to do these different things, and the devil was successfully, doing the very things that
he had a hold of you.
He had a hold of me, doing. Yeah, one of the other things that, I want to go back because I didn't bring this up at the time, but before we moved, we did a concert. And that concert was on Sunset Strip in Los Angeles. And it was at the Roxy, which is like the rock club. It's where all the 60s bands and all that played when they were coming out. So again, it was that whole achievement in my life. I'm going back. I'm getting to do all the things, that were there. And while we were there, it was Joe and another artist who was, again, one of my idols that I ended up signing as as an artist. And they were there, and the audience was full of stars. It was movie stars and all those. But there was two people that came. And both those two people were the artists that I saw the last concert I went to in Hawaii in Diamond Head Crater. It was a big festival. And I thought, isn't this the greatest thing? These guys are here. They're here to see this Christian band, And it wasn't until years later that, God finally got me to understand. He said, it wasn't anything great about that. The devil's there to let you know he still had you. Because those idols were still important in my life. Even though I'd come out, got rid of drugs in there, but he brought those two specific people. Last concert I had gone to in Hawaii, in the middle of a thing, and did it there. I mean, brought it there and said, look, look what it is. But anyway, back where we were in, we started to realize it was a mess, and at this point in time, an artist took me to Russia because he knew I was floundering, and he said, I want to take you to Russia because I want you to experience things that are not commercialized. People sing music over here because they want to tell people about Jesus, and they may be in jail the next day. So I went. And the whole time when I went, all I heard about was this church because the man that was there was the interpreter of Sam Whaley when he had gone to Russia. All I heard about was Sam and Jane Whaley, Sam and Jane Whaley, Sam and Jane Whaley. And so I went to, while I was in Russia, and then I came back and I said, I got to go to that church. I got to go see what that is. So I came to the church, and the first time I walked in the church, it was just like, I'd walked into the church in Pennsylvania. All I knew is it was the love of God. It was, you can't explain it, but it was just so tangible, and things that were, were there, and God then really started to do the work in my heart. And it was, I went back home And
he was different. I could tell a difference immediately. Something was different about him. I didn't understand it, but I wanted to know what it was. And so we a few months later packed up the children and came on down for a visit ourselves. And I walked in and met this group of people, and I knew that we belonged here, that this was our home, this is what we'd been searching for, this was it. And that has never changed. I've never doubted it, and we've been here over 28 years, and it's not going to change. Our children were 2 and almost 4 when we came here, and they were raised in the Christian school here and flourished in the Christian school here. And they both met their spouses here. They both got married here. They were not prearranged marriages. They were not forced to marry anyone. They loved each other, and they got married. And now they have children. We have 3 beautiful grandchildren, and our grandchildren are going to have the privilege of being raised in the Christian school here, and in this church, this precious group of people that I love so dearly. And Sam and Jane Whaley have been nothing but wonderful to us, and loved us and loved us and loved us, our whole family.
I know that a lot of this has been about music, and so I know the other night, we were at the church, and I get to work in the sound booth and do a lot there, and I was in the sound booth just weeping and weeping, because the youth were dancing like David danced, and the songs were coming forth, and it wasn't contrived. It wasn't made up. It wasn't trying to be something. It says in John 4:23, it says, "A time will come, however, indeed is already here, when the true and genuine worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such people as these." And I know the church prayed. The church prayed for people like us to come out. Yes. And we came out, and we ended up here. Yes. God brought us here. And in Isaiah 42:10, I want to say this before, we end. It says, "Sing to the Lord a new song and his praise from the end of the earth. You will go down to the sea and all that is in it. The islands and the coastal region and the inhabitants of them, sing a song such has never been heard by the heathen world." See, all we did was songs that were like the heathen world. These now were songs that I was hearing, and that's why I was just weeping. These are songs that the heathen, it's never heard, And I mean, I got the privilege. After all this life of what I did, now I have the privilege to be there and listen and see this, and I just sit there and I just let it just flow all over my body and watch the people. I mean, as those children just sing and dance before the Lord.
Yes.
And I'd be dead, and there's no doubt about it. I'd be dead right now had I never come. I don't know, all the different situations going on around the church. All I know is, this is my church. I love the people in my church. Yes. I love my pastors, and they have done nothing but great things for me. Without them, I wouldn't have made it.
That's right. That's right.
You're a miracle, Ray. We love you, and what a transformation of your heart and your life. I mean, you saw God bring you out of darkness into the light, and they're powerful ministers. Ray preaches in the prison, taking the message of Jesus Christ, and what a blessing to hear a man's heart that came out of that kind of darkness into the light. And we are so grateful, Brenda, so grateful. You can see the testimony. If you missed it on Friday, it's up on our website, wordoffaithfellowship.org, and go listen to the testimonies of people's lives have changed. On behalf of our pastors in our church, we love you, we're praying for you, and we'll be back on Wednesday.
In Rutherfordton to the foothills of the Carolinas, you're listening to the best of both worlds. 100.9 FM and 590 AM. WCAB.
Let the WCAB marketing team go to work for your business. It works. Call Tracy or Jim at 287-3356.
ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. The ceremonies begin in a couple of hours as America remembers the 41st president, the granddaughter of George H.W. Bush.